wait until my stream fucked itself, and then it would come back.
Oh, there it goes.
Yep, here we are. We're back again. Sorry, OBS just needed to fuck me over for a bit. You know how it is. Just gonna wait a minute. Give it 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Make sure everybody's back. Okay. I hate. You know what? Fuck. This is a perfect opportunity. So, of course, on that fucking decided to go long.
Opportunity.
Make that show again. All right, let's go back to here. Hi, welcome to the second part of the stream. Why is this the second part? Because OBS fucking turned off, so it's going up as 2 videos on YouTube. So yeah, all right, there we go. God, I hate OBS. Okay, well, we're still live.
Yeah.
Hedgehog 2 had a bunch of stuff not make it into the final game due to memory limitations, a common theme back in the day. This unfortunately limited the number of levels that they could put into the initial release of Sonic 2, with the developers even cutting out all but finished stages. The most popular was the Hidden Palace Zone, a level that would have taken place in an underground cave and was basically fully finished, but was the first on the chopping block for cutting levels. The level would later serve as the foundation for the level by the same name in Sonic and Knuckles. Not to mention, the level finally returned to Sonic 2 in the 2013 remaster, where they added an entrance to the level, where in the original you'd fall into a deep spike pit, with the level being used in advertisements and such before the game's release. Since it was so close to being complete, players were pretty surprised to find the level missing, and rumors began on how to access the level. Of course, there would be no way to access this level in the original Genesis and Mega Drive versions of this game, just a strangely out of place death pit that players couldn't get out of. I'll take a nice courtyard fountain any day compared to this, man. Like, Tails couldn't even get his ass out of that thing, man.
Oh,
Let's go, it's me!
It's
me!
Me being a big meat guy is the secret bovine level. If you're unfamiliar, this was a once rumored, now confirmed secret Easter egg level located in Diablo 2 that featured a unique
It's
enemy.
my
The
people!
enemy in question is the flay cows, aka, as the game denotes them, hell bovines. To get to the secret area is actually pretty simple, as all you need to do is combine a Wart's leg with a town portal, which will transform your portal to access the mysterious beef land. Before it was nerfed, this area actually was used by players to farm experience and items, as the cows were more of meme enemies featuring slower attack and being weaker overall, dropping rare items and a lot of experience for how easy they were to kill. It was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It was eventually patched out, and the level now lives on in references to the level in future Blizzard games and other companies referencing this notorious cow level. Give a gamer a toy gun and a dog on the screen and give them enough time, they're gonna get bored shooting the ducks and start taking pot shots at the mutt. It's fucked up, but it's true. It doesn't help that the dog was made to be one of the most annoying characters in the early NES days, constantly snickering at the missed shots and ordering the player around. Listen, it's only a matter of time until you turn the zapper on yourself or the dog. One's gotta go, and it ain't gonna be me, alright? Unfortunately, Duck Hunt on NES, the one most played back in the day, you weren't able to actually shoot the dog on the screen, cultivating rumors on how you could. I'm not sure how dark these got, but today you can find images of the dog's head being blown off, which is
Jesus.
pretty classy stuff. guys. Jesus. The dog was
Damn.
actually able to be shot in the Versus Duck Hunt game that was playable in arcades, but unlike the realistic fan depiction, he would simply show up with gunpowder covering his face, angry at the player. So I guess technically this myth turned out to be true in a way, just not in the way everybody wanted. If you really want to do this nowadays, just load up Smash Ultimate and shoot the Duck Hunt dog with the RPG Snake has, and it's the same thing. It gives the same effect. Ocarina of Time is a perfect game to many. Not to me, but to many it's the perfect Zelda experience. It surprised to those who fell in love with the game and its large world that there were actually some major plot and gameplay elements that were left out of the final release of the game. Ocarina of Time, like other Zelda games, as the early screenshots of the game suggest, the Triforce would have been an item the player could collect, and it would have likely played a larger role in the story. There was also a screen laying out Triforce on the inventory screen that slowly made use of, making many players believe it was actually still in the game. And to obtain the Triforce, you need to play a song by the...
Death Star approaching.
Oh, fuck.
Slurp.
The three goddesses turned off their targeting systems and decided to rely on the Force.
You guys are so dumb.
Fucking father, fucking father, fucking father.
It's a crap.
Oh, fuck.
name
I
of
wanna- I hope
Overture
other
of
people get that
Sages on the
reference.
Ocarina. It's unknown what this would have done in the final game had it been included, but it 100% would have been used to forward the story in some ways, as we've seen the Triforce in every other Zelda game. The myth finally came true in a way during a SGDQ run of the game in 2022. Runners used a method known as arbitrary code execution, and it sounds as complicated as it is. Basically, this was still technically a ROM-hacked version of the game, but without tampering with the original copy of Ocarina of Time externally. Don't worry, I'm just as confused as to what I'm talking about as you guys, but maybe if someone with more knowledge of how this was actually pulled off can leave it in the comments, and I'll pin it or something. Whatever it took to do this, it's very impressive, even adding in a post-credit scene where you can see the future looking into an N64 styled
Oh, that's
Skyward
cool.
Sword. But yeah, in terms of playing
That
this
is
back in
cool.
the day, finding the Triforce wasn't something that could be done, at least collecting it in full like the game seemed to present in early developments and screenshots. Sometimes myths and urban legends in video games don't even come from anything in the game itself, but from something equivalent to mass gamer hysteria. Nah, but there are many cases of confirmation bias with things like catching fish in Animal Crossing or catching Pokemon, or pressing A in Mario Party to save your coins. I'm pretty sure that last one actually works, but it feels like it fucking doesn't. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
The idea is
Yeah, I don't think that
rapidly
works.
pressing
So
A
right,
during
yeah.
the catching sequence in Pokemon games will enhance the chances of a successful catch. However, thanks to looking at stuff like the game's programming, it's determined that many things like Pokemon's remaining health, ball type, and other factors that actually affect the capture, and pressing A a bunch it doesn't do anything. It doesn't actually help. However, you tried to tell anyone that back in the day, and they could probably disprove you, since it did seem to weirdly work every once in a while over doing nothing anyway. This tactic has been burned into the minds of players for years, and even with newer games, they're still liable to do it. Hell, I was smashing the fuck out of my phone screen the first time I played Pokemon Go, but nothing that actually helps you capture it.
Yeah.
I feel like turning your phone off and throwing it into a river is a better way to get Pokemon in that game than actually trying.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, Mount Chiliad.
Yeah.
The thing is like, it's a 50-50 whether that button mashing is going to work or not. Because either you're going to catch it or you're not going to catch it. And if you do something a million times, you're going to see a pattern of whether or not it works or not, right?
Yeah, like your brain is already preconceived to see patterns, and if you are already convinced something, you're counting the hits, or you're counting the hits and ignoring the misses.
Yeah.
Basically, you're like, yeah, I cut so many just doing that.
Yeah.
When in reality, like, you'll couch the exact same amount if you did the exact same thing, just not button mash.
Yeah.
The Mount Chiliad mystery is the first we'll discuss in the iceberg that is still kind of up in the air as to the original intent of the mystery, along with if there's actually more to discover or not. If you're unfamiliar, there is a lot that makes up this mystery, but basically the highest point in Los Santos is Mount Chiliad, where you would find the origin of this mystery, which is a large marking on the wall of the cable car station. The drawing shows different objects like UFOs, eggs, and what looks like to be a jetpack. A little throwback. There's been a lot of investigation into this mystery with several theories cropping up and one that is most likely the actual answer to the mystery. During the early development of GTA 5, before they realized just how much GTA Online is a moneymaker, there were plans for GTA 5 story DLC that might have cleared up this mystery after all. However, with the success of GTA Online, it seems the focus of Rockstar shifted for DLC for GTA 5, putting all their eggs into the online basket. This, of course, means they would have likely moved content planned for the single player DLC and translate it into online content. This is why many believe the answer to the Mount Chiliad mystery lies in the online heist mode, specifically the Doomsday heist. There are many ties to Mount Chiliad in this mission, like the intro to certain missions taking place on the mountain, and your main character using a jetpack to take out the main antagonist of the heist. Others believe the mystery is simply to show where to see the UFO you can encounter upon 100% completion, but with how deep the mystery goes, this seems a little too simple to be the only purpose of this giant mural. At this point, there is likely never going to be an actual answer to this convoluted riddle unless something more is found in the base game, and that's because a lot of the developers who worked on GTA 5 and this mystery don't even work there anymore. They don't work at Rockstar. And if it were truly solved in GTA Online, there's no way this was the full version of the mission, and the true purpose of the mystery may never fully be revealed. We should have got a jetpack in the single player.
Yeah.
That's all.
The
So,
other thing with this, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say it also could tie back to, Red Dead Redemption 2, the redheaded, like, demon. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was thinking it could go back to that a little bit as well, because we also see that in GTA 6 or GTA 5 that what do you call it, that cult, the one with the blue shirt and everything, they say Kiflum.
Yeah.
And if you go to their website, like it says like the being of red hair, or like head of fire, and he has like a birthmark, and like, yeah, that's what the guy has as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing about GTA 5 is in the sandy area on the right side of the map there's this house that is burnt down, and on the house has a paper that you can look into it, and it's talking about crazy eights, where it's like this dude went around and killed 7 people, and he leaves clues all around, and he leaves the guide up in the mountain where you can find duct tape bodies.
Yeah.
God damn.
I remember finding all those clues. I believe it leads you to, like, you get a special hatchet or something.
Oh, that's the one that you kept killing me with.
Yeah, the tomahawk. That's what you get from it.
Yeah. I need to find that one still.
Even in the prison, on the wall in the middle, there's like stuff about crazy eights.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like the black
Isn't that the one with
bodies.
the serial killer or whatever?
Yeah.
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 That's the one where you get the tomahawk that puts you in a blood rage whenever you kill somebody.
Interesting.
That's awesome. We need to go back to GTA.
Yeah.
There's a lot of content we have in the
GTA 5M. They'll do that. That's like the roleplay server stuff.
Oh yeah. I was just gonna say we go back and do the heists that we never did.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new content.
Once everybody gets their computers.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna need a update if I want to stream that.
Very resource heavy game.
Well, I'm pissed
Play
about.
that game religiously.
Hey, Doug Ratman.
The original Portal does a lot of showing and not telling in the story to a point where one of the main characters in the game, who is making all of the gears turn in the background, isn't actually ever shown to the main character. That, of course, is Doug Ratman, a scientist who was working at Aperture upon the development of the advanced technology they were working on, and GLaDOS, and was outspoken about his worries of the technology turning on them since it had already begun to show violent signs. It turns out his prophecy was true, and after most of his co-workers succumbed to GLaDOS, it was up to him to stop her and escape the facility. He had a few struggles with this, though, as he was slowly losing his mental as he is diagnosed with schizophrenia, and after the lockdown, he was no longer able to take his meds. GLaDOS ends up attempting to use this against Ratman, framing the lockdown and the deaths of his co-workers was all a simple hallucination on Ratman's part, but he knew better, and with his extensive knowledge of the facility, he was able to hide in quote-unquote rat dens where the player can see different drawings and scrawlings on the walls, and even see Ratman slowly delve into a dark place due to his mental disorder. The famous phrase from Portal, "The cake is a lie," was a telltale sign Doug left behind for the main protagonist, Chell, in Portal 1, to let them know not to trust GLaDOS, the one running the trials. This was due to the fact that the cake was always promised as a reward for completing the trials. Even though he's never actually seen in the game, he was always constantly making sure to help the player along the way, as he specifically chose Chell out of a lot of other subjects. Her main trait that stuck out to him was her resilience and stubbornness, making her perfect for the strenuous tests ahead of her. The inclusion of these rat dens and the spoon feeding of information throughout the story of how this whole thing started is really impressive, but can be a little confusing at times. Randomly running into strange scribbling on the walls by some maniac may seem a bit strange to run across at first, but after realizing the purpose of it all, it brings everything together. Due to time, I'm not going to go into every little bit of detail surrounding Doug Ratman, but just know that the David Bowie Starman meme is this meme in a video game character. He's the guy. He's a G. If you want to know more about Doug, check out Skyrayon's lore video, which goes into much more detail about Ratman's backstory and roles in both Portal 1 and 2. It's a very interesting watch and goes much more into the character than I did here. The Hell Valley Sky Trees are some of the most covered pieces of video game
This one was one I've
legends
heard
online,
for a
so I'm
long
gonna keep this
time.
one pretty short. The Hell Valley Sky Trees are strange, long shadow beings that peer down at Mario in the Shiverburn Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. There are two that are visible, but the pattern repeats with two more being behind the cliff texture. They don't have anything to do with the level, the game, or anything else in the Mario universe as it seems. They are simply a 2D texture that only appear in this certain part of the game and have creeped many players out over the years. The mystery of why they were included is almost as intriguing as the Sky Trees themselves, but it's likely we'll never get an explanation because we still haven't gotten one officially. Many players have speculated that they are a simple Easter egg referencing Japanese folklore creatures known as Kodama, which are creatures that inhabit trees and curse those who try to cut them down. Perhaps these are just keeping an eye on Mario to make sure he doesn't come up there with a fire flower and recreate that one Far Cry 3 mission where you burn all the weed. I do think they are some of the creepiest things you can find in the Mario series because they seem to be deliberately made creepy and hidden away from plain view to only be seen by those who have the sixth sense. You know, the sixth sense, the one that tells you when trees are mugging you down from several hundred miles away. I've talked about the Lumiose City Ghost Girl before in a video, so I'll quickly recap it here again in case anyone didn't hear me talk about it there. In Pokemon X and Y, after entering this building in Lumiose City and taking the elevator up, you'll be witness to a pretty unnerving cutscene. The lights will start to flicker as a ghost girl shows up right behind the player before walking by, or I guess sliding by the player in a pretty surreal way. There's no explanation for the Ghost Girl, and since they share the same trainer type as the Hex Maniac trainer class, there are many mistaken other Hex Maniacs as the Ghost Girl. While this version of the Ghost isn't seen again in X and Y, and an eerily similar version of the same Ghost Girl can be found saying the same thing the original did, but in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. These hauntings are nothing new for the Pokemon series, but this one is one of the most forward-facing ghost events, meaning it happened to a lot of players, and with no explanation afterwards, it made the event stick out even more to players. And with all the Pokemon ghost features I've covered in the past, this one still stands.
It had to be something.
Yeah.
Because it was a cutscene. and they've left it in.
Yeah.
So either somebody got fired, or there was some shit with this.
Yeah. So I don't know what it would be though.
Fuck. I don't know. It was like she just walks. That's all she does. She just walks past. She's fucking. No, you're not the one.
Yep.
Like, oh well, thank you. Fucking.
I may not be the one, but I am the one that weighs a ton. Don't need a gun to get respect. That's my
Shell
DG.
pressing play.
The world of anti-piracy screens has taken on a whole new life online after the initial viral anti-piracy screens that started to pop up online a few years ago. This trend would take off, with many doing super impressive mock-ups of creepy anti-piracy screens, and some that took the creepy elements a little too far, making them very obviously fake. One of the biggest heavy hitters was the Mario Party DS anti-piracy screen that people still believe to be true even today. A mock-up video was made that was super convincing, hitting all the perfect notes for something Nintendo would have done for a screen like this if it were real. It even has the element of the gameplay being glitched out before bringing the player to a screen with all the Mario Party characters behind bars looking upset at the camera, with the text reading, "It's a serious crime to pirate video games," all while creepy distorted music with demonic laughing is playing in the background. It's the perfect fake anti-piracy screen, referencing things like the fun is infinite with the music choice and mocking up a really convincing screenshot. Doesn't hurt either. Great work on this one, and it really encompasses the feeling players had when they did run into these sort of screens back in the day. Everything from fear of the law responding to guilt for not ethically playing the game. These screens will always invoke some strange feeling in me whenever I see them. Which, hey, I totally don't naturally see these screens all the time. Buy your games, guys. Support developers. Unless they're Ubisoft, in which case you don't own them anyways. Get after those games, guys. They're all free.
Hey.
Petscop
Petscop.
is a creepypasta that became bigger than itself, with really convincing evidence to go along with the original story. The story started off as a gamer who supposedly found a super rare unreleased PS1 game that featured unique dark gameplay. The character in the story, Paul, decides to unveil this unreleased game upon the world in the form of gameplay videos uploaded to his channel on YouTube. Being one of the earliest ARG creepypastas with this much evidence behind it, it was hard to decipher early on if this game actually existed or if it was created simply for this story. As the series went on, it got less believable, but this doesn't take away from the effort of the project as a whole. The creator, Tony, came out later and also confirmed it was created for artistic purposes, and even admitted to changing certain story beats and when to reveal them to maintain the mystery of the initial few gameplays. There are a number of great videos covering the creepypasta in full you can check out, plus you can still watch the original uploads of the game on the Petscop channel. Been drown walked so Petscop can run, even kind of admitted to by the creator, but I must say the effort by Tony goes above and beyond most other creepypastas back in the day, cementing this as one of the strangest video game internet legends.
Yeah. Oblivious.
Polybius is an internet urban legend that is so old that the original mention of the legend is even uncertain. It tells of an arcade machine that is supposedly super addictive and gave players side effects like nausea, migraines, seizures, insomnia, and BBLs. After these incidents, Men in Black government agents were seen coming into a few arcades this machine was present in to supposedly collect data and information about the player's statistics. The story told of the machine only being present in an arcade for 1 month before they were all removed and never seen again. While this all sounds super fake and hyperbolized nowadays, it still worked just enough to be believable, especially when it resurfaced in the early days of the internet. With no way to verify
I don't
reports
know
by
what a
tracking down
BBL
original
is.
machines or incident reports from 81, the story is just a story. However, many have tried
I don't
to
know
make
what a
the case that
BBL
the
is.
story may have been fabricated not on purpose for internet
It's
fame, but
wonk.
just misremembering incidents like a couple of cases.
Someone's gonna corrupt me. Oh, Brazilian bella.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Okay. I'm gonna be right back, stream. We gotta go get something real quick. Shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. In the meantime, you get to see my new back screen. And I'm back.
Hello.
I'm back. Hello. Everybody. How are you? I'm back.
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah,
Right,
I'm back.
we want to go do stuff.
Okay.
Something about a workout.
Okay.
Okay. Well, if she's gonna do that, maybe we should just go back to our own chat.
Alright, about to stream.
Hmm?
Alright.
Let's focus on the stream.
Yeah, that's what we're doing right now. So,
Let's continue.
This is from gamers passing out while playing long sessions in arcades trying to beat world records, and a case of FBI seizing arcades in relation to reports that the owners were using their machines for gambling and an unfair personal gain. So these two may have been remembered as the same event, adding to the authenticity of the Polybius story, but alas, it seems like a complete fabrication, and until an original Polybius machine crops up, I'll believe that it is fake. Even if, though, at this point it would be really hard to verify, as there are many mock-ups of the machine out there being featured in things like the AVGN Polybius Special. If you somehow never heard of Polybius before, there are plenty of great videos online covering the full story and even replicating it in dramatic form.
never even heard of that one.
You never heard of Polybius?
Nope.
Really?
Never.
It's like one of the most popular ones. Which is why it was on layer 1. Let's check out, let's see layer 2. Let's see which one of these you do know. Every copy of Mario 64 is personalized. Yeah, that's one I've heard of. Have you heard that one?
Mm-mm.
No?
No. We can just push play and then we can.
I know, but I want to
Oh, okay.
check them out before we press play and they start giving out the story.
Oh, okay.
So we know which ones that we have heard of and which ones we haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Reviving Aerith.
I don't know.
I don't know that one either. John Doe, that's gives me
Too
nothing.
big.
Stop and Swap.
Never heard of it.
Ratman and GTA 4. I've heard that one a bit, yeah.
I haven't.
Gygus is a metaphor for abortion.
Heard about that
Heard
one.
about that one. Fun is Infinite.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Sonic one, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Tails Doll Curse. Yep.
Yep.
Jumping over the flagpole in Super Mario Brothers. For Mario Bros.
Super Mario Brothers. You
Super
got
Mario Brothers.
it.
I think so.
All right, that one.
Sonic and Tails in Melee. I remember hearing Sonic. I don't remember hearing Tails.
I heard about them both.
Toad in Melee. Heard that one.
Yeah.
Tataka's song?
Nope.
Reptile and MK1, yeah.
I haven't heard that one.
In the first MK in a Mortal Kombat game.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one.
Never heard it?
Nope.
Ah. 19887 on custom night screen. Oh,
Nah,
yeah, FNAF.
by the 87.
Gyroid face. That is
Don't know.
Ghostface on World 444. Super Mario 3D Land. Okay. Yeah, I heard that one. You know, this package. Okay. Mostly it's seen like ones that I haven't heard of.
The every copy of Mario 64 is personalized.
This one was
theory
kinda
is less
dumb.
of a theory and a dumb trend online that
Yeah.
went a little too far and started something that, man, it may never end. Now, I do say dumb, but I do appreciate everything that came from this urban legend, including a lot of horror mock-ups of different surreal things happening in the game through various means of video and analog horror channels. For the uninformed, the personalized Mario 64 theory tells of a special AI that was being tested in the game's backend that basically made each and every copy of Super Mario 64 unique in its own way. This was a basic way of kind of explaining the many strange things that people claim are in the game, yet it's absent from other people's experiences. While this is 100% bullshit,
Yeah, it's 100% bullshit. Do you know how powerful the cartridge would need to be?
Yeah.
It's beyond what the 64 could do.
Yeah. Its processing power alone would have to be that of like modern day laptops. If it was all of them were running individual AIs that were messing with the game coding at any given time. It really was just like one-off glitches that everyone had.
Yeah.
can all agree. It can be explained kind of by the school playground chit chat where kids' imaginations kind of went further than what was actually in the game. Kids trying to one up each other, you know. It's no surprise something like this came to be a huge theory online. I've had my own strange, unique experiences in the game, like a memory that I'm sure was just a bad dream looking back, but where I was in the upstairs mirror room and I was just staring into Mario's beautiful reflection, and after a few long minutes, the Big Boo from Big Boo's haunt showed up and slowly started to float towards Mario. Before reaching him, the N64 lost power, and I was just staring, looking at a loud, fuzzy TV screen. Now again, it's something I remember as memory, but perhaps I'm confusing a bad
No,
dream.
wait,
or a
does
mystery
not
what
actually happen?
happened that day. I don't think this adds
Not the
any more weight to
N64
the
turning up,
theory for
but
me
like if you're
personally,
looking
but
at yourself in the mirror, like a Boo shows up.
I don't know. Never heard that.
Could have sworn that actually happens. Maybe not.
but it helps me understand maybe how this
Maybe I'm
dumbass
thinking of something
theory
else.
seemed to be super popular online.
Oh,
For many gamers
Oh,
in the 90s,
yeah.
seeing Aerith's death in Final Fantasy VII was one of the hardest things they had to deal with. It really messed them up. It really messed up a whole generation. So much so that rumors began to spread that there was a way to actually revive Aerith in the game after the fact. This was 90s copium to another level, man. Hey guys, she's not really dead though, right? A few of the theories, including using a random item known as the underwater materia, which only helps against the boss fight Emerald weapon, removing the time limit from the fight. However, many speculated that maxing this materia out would allow the player to enter a secluded underwater section in the Forbidden City, wherein they would find Aerith and be able to revive her from there. This and other rumors were obviously proven to be fake, and fellow content creator
Nem.
Oddheader actually
Nem,
got
they're
wrapped up
dead.
in a
She's
few of
dead.
those rumors
That's it.
as he had made a video
You can't
finally
revive them,
revealing
Nem.
the way to finally revive Aerith. That was obviously a prank for April Fools, but it pissed a lot of people off. Come on, man. You can't play with people's trauma like that, bruh. No, I'm just joking. People are dumb and get mad when they fall for something. It's an impressive piece and is probably the closest thing we'll ever get.
Nem, are you one of the people who tried to revive her?
Oh, fuck.
I love you, Nem.
To seeing the theory come true, so.
Oh, Roblox.
I've never really
The
played
Roblox one?
Roblox all that often. You know, I'll
guess.
sometimes go in there to check out the random really good
Shut the
user
up.
creation like Robot64. Other than that, though, there are several thousands of other creations you can find in Roblox, and the whole thing seems like a pretty
no problem.
unkempt jungle gym of row people doing whatever the fuck they want. I mean, have you ever scrolled past a Roblox TikTok and had no idea what the hell was even going on? And it's got like no likes or comments, and you feel like you walked in on something you shouldn't have. Regardless, Roblox has a lot of strange corners, and this entry touches on a strange account by the name John Doe. If you're not familiar, John and Jane Doe are used as name placeholders for people who don't have a name for whatever reason in real life. These mantras were used by Roblox developers for testing accounts where 3 different accounts were made: John Doe, Jane Doe, and the original Roblox account. This all seems pretty typical for a large online game like this to test different aspects of the game. However, the mystery of John Doe is a bit stranger. Due to the mysterious nature of these Roblox characters, like the fact they were rarely ever seen online or in the game, this caused many players and online coverage of the game to vilify the John and Jane Doe accounts. It was rumored that on March 18th, 2017, a large hack would take place with these accounts on Roblox. If you logged in at any point on March 18th, you're getting hacked, buddy. This was largely propagated for cheap clicks online from children by YouTubers who definitely added the most weight to this theory, but in reality, nothing happened on March 18th besides Roblox making an official statement and resetting their own users on the platform, proving the rumor was untrue. It seems like for a while, from 2015 to 2017, the John Doe account was a regular boogeyman for the Roblox servers, but thankfully none of it turned out to be true. It wouldn't be the last strange occurrence with Roblox, but, you know, that's for another time. Stop and Swap was one of the most ambitious ideas for the earliest versions of...
This one?
Yeah, you actually remember it now?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't know what it is.
Share
So
content between games. This was being developed back in the day for a few games exclusively developed by Rare and started with their flagship. Sorry, Banjo. It's not
you what?
flagship. Their flagship game, Banjo-Kazooie. The Stop and Swap feature would have added extra items that are still present in the game but are inaccessible naturally and are only revealed after the player 100%'s the game, where a cutscene of Mumbo Jumbo showing the mysterious items is played out. These items would have worked through Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, and there's even evidence of the feature in Donkey Kong 64. It's like this Banjo-Kazooie fridge in Donkey Kong's treehouse. The feature was later added back into the game in a way to the Xbox arcade versions of Banjo-Kazooie that gave exclusive items and car parts and Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts, so, I mean, yay. Overall, it seemed like the feature was too ambitious for the hardware at the time, as it would have required something known as a hot swap, where you literally swap cartridges within a 10-second time limit. It's pretty intriguing to look back on this to see these developer trends starting all the way back in the day in this infancy and see how they tried to work around the old hardware they used back then. Had this become a thing back in the day, it might have launched the trend of different games communicating with each other a little bit earlier, but you know, they started to figure that out with the next generation with things like the Game Boy Advance connector to the GameCube. It seems like after the popularity of GTA San Andreas' Bigfoot mystery, every other subsequent game release had their own strange urban legend to look out for. In Grand Theft Auto 4, one of these oddities many players claim they've seen and run into deep beneath Liberty City is known as the Rat.
Just gonna say this. Chris is drinking poison next to me.
No, I'm not.
Poison.
No.
It's lethal.
Listen,
Batman.
it doesn't even kill you.
You killed me.
It cannot. It's ginger.
Yeah, I'm allergic to ginger.
You're not severely allergic to ginger. You're like, it kind of makes me itchy. No, that's it.
Makes my throat swell up a bit.
It does not. Okay, maybe a little bit, but like it.
No, my
most of
God,
it's
you're
just-
like, it does not. It's fucking, I felt in there when you're having a reaction. I know what you're feeling.
God damn it.
Bitch.
You know what I mean. That's severely. He's fine. He's fine.
Drinking poison next to me.
Oh, he's fine.
Ratman supposedly lives under the city in the subway tunnels and stays alive by feasting on the homeless population down there. Damn, they can't catch a break. The accounts of Ratman differ a bit, with some players believing him to be a humanoid rat and a unique asset in the game, while others believe him just to be a geeked up homeless person who can run super fast and is very hostile to the player. There's a few pieces of evidence floating around the internet, but they are so low quality that you can't even tell what's going on in them. Many skeptics believe this was done intentionally to hide the fact that it was so obviously fake, but this was also back in the day of shitty cell phone cameras, so who really knows? There are references to rats in and out of the game, like a cut line from a train conductor that would have read, "I just saw the rat of size of a pit bull down in the subway," which many believe was a subtle reference to the Ratman, but in reality this was likely a humorous line poking fun at New York's real-life rat problem. Like all of these Grand Theft Auto urban legends, this one is still purely
That did not look like a rat. That looked like a shrew. Right?
Oh, like a man.
Because rats don't look like that.
No, they don't. Not really.
Like, I've seen rats.
Where do you go back?
I come from a city.
real-life rat.
Yeah, that's a shrew.
That's a shrew.
Yeah.
Hey, I got the right animal, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck you.
What do you mean?
I'm not saying you.
Oh.
Saying this person who's saying that that's a rat.
Nah, not rat.
That's
Shit,
not
that's
a rat.
a shrew.
It's a shrew. I've seen rats.
They're adorable.
Rats are fucking huge.
Shrews eat so much. They eat more than rats.
Do they?
Yeah. I think they eat like 4 times their own body weight per day.
Damn.
Yeah.
Rat problem.
It's adorable,
Like all
though.
of these Grand Theft Auto urban legends, this one is still purely speculation and is likely not actually in the game, especially with the limiting amounts of evidence being presented since the game's release over a decade ago.
They're vicious.
Shit, I don't even know if anybody bothered to make a mod of this guy. I'm
Oh,
gonna be
yeah.
honest.
They'll fight everything.
Gygus in my book is one of Nintendo's most surreal final bosses. I mean, just look at this guy. He's not even in the same ball field as King K. Rool or Bowser. Gygus is so powerful that Ness and the gang have to
Gygus is
go back
like
in
a
time to a time where he's
entity.
less powerful, a time where he's emotionally damaged from the ending of Mother. So Gygus's power is already pretty evident that when you finally get to the boss battle, it's like staring up at a 100-mile-long impassable wall. Gygus was so
Yeah.
impactful that rumors began to spread that his presentation in Earthbound is a lot darker than it first seems. The running theory is that Gygus represents an abortion and abandoned, even with some finding that in the pattern that makes up Gygus, you could see a repeating pattern of what looks like
It kind of does.
Yeah.
That's the fucked thing. It does look like that.
I wouldn't put it past them either. Like, do you know about the cult that's in this game?
I've never played Earthbound before.
So, neither have I, but I've heard about this. There's a cult where, like, everyone wears blue or something like that, and they have a singular blue cow.
Do they run around saying me?
No, but there was an actual cult in Japan that basically was called like the Smile Always cult or something like that. They were like really happy all the time. They were even gaining political power and having one of their leaders like run for office and stuff.
Damn.
And then there was a synchronized attack of nerve gas in the subway stations.
Jeez.
Yeah. So what they did was they had like the like a bag within a bag of these two chemicals. And they put it in a newspaper, leave it on the ground, and then as they got up to leave with an umbrella, they would poke the bag. That way the chemicals would mix and they would just leave.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
It was so messed up.
to be a
Yes.
baby in the womb. This theory was backed up even more when the creator of the game stated he was inspired by a film he'd accidentally walked into where he witnessed what he thought was a sexual assault scene, but in reality the film just featured a woman getting murdered. Many tied this incident to support the fact that Gygus was an aborted fetus, but there are just as many people disproving this theory with some great points. Like this post in the Creepy Gaming subreddit that offers a few points to disprove this theory, stating, Earthbound may be dark at times, but do you think how Nintendo would allow an abortion as a major plot point in an E-rated SNES game. While we don't know much about Gygas's race, fetuses are seldom known for being physically powerful to forces of evil. Yeah, we'll likely never get an official confirmation of this from developers since, they're locked away in a dungeon somewhere, never to make another game again. That and like the poster's first point. I
Yeah,
don't
but
think
also
it's
if he
in
did
Nintendo's
intend
best
that, like,
interest to
would
confirm
he
it.
really say? Would he go outright and be like, yeah, that's what I mean? Or would just be like, yeah, crazy, scary end boss?
Yeah, not only that, there are a lot of things that people don't tell their main like benefactors.
Yeah.
Like their main benefactors. Like this, for all we know, yeah, this could have been it, but like he just told Nintendo, like, no, yeah, look, it's the creepy faces. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's like so that they would let him put it in.
Yeah.
Like if I was putting some fuck shit in a video game, I'd be like, no, yeah, no, that's not it.
No, it's just
No.
it's scary, man.
Yeah, it's just scary. You see that? It's the best guy around.
What about your boy Fish? What about
Fish?
I got that.
What do you guys think? Is Gygas a fetus or just a giant flesh wall? Let me know down below.
Fun is infinite.
Fun is Infinite should be in Layer 1 in my opinion, since it's really well known if you're a pioneer.
incredibly
early
well
internet
known.
horror, but
Yeah.
I don't have the wherewithal to gather all the information just to research and talk about it, so until I make my own iceberg, I'll shut the hell up about it. Regardless, Fun is Infinite was a suspected anti-piracy screen for Sonic CD turned disturbing Easter egg, and was one of the main inspirations for the popular creepypasta Sonic.exe. After the screen was found in Sonic CD, the anti-piracy theory dissolved quickly, but finding the screen is super convoluted, so I don't blame anyone for thinking it was fake or something else entirely.
Yeah, it wasn't
In reality, you can find
anti-piracy,
the
it was
screen in the
just-
sound test menu,
yeah.
and it presents players with a creepy image of Sonic and what appears to be a comically creepy face/mask that reminds me of the anonymous masks.
What's up, brother?
Text in Japanese at the bottom when translated reads, Fun is Infinite with Sega Enterprises, Majin. Due to some mistranslations, Majin was misinterpreted as Majin or Mashin, which means devil in Japanese. This misinterpretation, along with the creepy-ass background music they chose for the American version of the screen, went down in infamy for being just downright bone-chillin'. This
Yeah,
version
screw
of
that.
Sonic today is known as Majin Sonic and is often referenced with fans even modding him into modern Sonic games, and the official Sega Twitter tweeting art containing Majin Sonic. Today, he's less of a boogeyman and a strange part of Sonic's history,
Okay,
but
so
a really
then-
cool one to look
So
back
he's
on
official.
with the full story.
All right. This is one that actually scared me as a kid.
I don't know about this one.
You don't know about this one?
No.
Oh, that's some truly fuck shit.
All right, let's go.
Now we're getting into the straight up silly and dumb creepypastas of the early internet days. These started cropping up when I was just young enough to still be creeped out by them, given the right setting. But man, even back then I knew some of these were dumb as hell. Tails doll is a character from Sonic.
Yeah,
Art
growing up,
Racing,
you know
which
it's
is a
stupid.
robot doll made to look like Sonic's friend Tails in order to fool Sonic into falling into one of Eggman's traps. There were several stories online that told of the Tails doll being cursed
Oh,
and the fact
Um,
that
sorry. Funny thing,
Mhm.
in the comics, because Eggman made like iron versions of every character, made Iron Sonic or Metal Sonic, made metal versions of them all. Like Metal Sonic, Shadow, Knuckles. He even made a Metal Amy at some point,
Whoa,
but he only ever made a Tails doll.
that's weird.
He never made a metal Tails.
Hmm.
And in the comics, Tails actually gets mad. He's like, why is there no metal version of me?
He's like, you're soft and tiny. I can't.
And like, yet most recently, I think in the most recent version, they did make a metal Tails, but that one was discontinued.
Goddamn. Goddamn.
So we never got to see metal Tails in action.
Oh shit.
you could get a dark ending with Tails doll if you 100%ed the game. These were told through creepypastas mainly, with one of the earliest ones being a short story where
Only
a dad gets
Sonic
Sonic arm for
racing
his
game where it
kid,
makes
and after
sense.
a few days the kid beats the game, and his dad decides to play it after the kid goes to sleep one night and finds Tails doll to be playable before the game turns itself off. Later that night, the dad saw a shadowy figure under his bedroom door, and it turned out not to be his
Smoking a-
son, but Tails doll. This story started a number of stories that told of Tails
Tails
doll
doll.
curse that is obviously as fake as Luigi's mustache. Still, though, it's pretty nostalgic and fun to look back to what we found creepy in the early days of
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
this is dumb as hell.
Yeah.
Jumping
For a
over the
long time,
flagpole.
the rumor of jumping over the flagpole at the end of certain stages was merely a rumor on a rumor boat floating in the sea of other rumors. You know what I'm saying? It was
Which I
harder
think
to
you can actually do
confirm
it.
if these claims
could
were
actually
true
jump
back in the
over
day
it.
without actually pulling it off yourself. So
I
for a
don't think
long
so.
time,
It's just
the
nothing
idea of jumping
happens.
over the flagpole was
You can
merely
still
thought to
jump on
be
a
myth.
flagpole.
After many years, though, it is no longer schoolyard rumors and more of a glitch that could
Yeah, there
occur
we
in
go.
the original Super
Oh.
Mario Brothers.
And you just
can
keep
pull
going.
this off in a few stages in the game, and it requires nailing a jump that you kind of have to glitch a Koopa and jump over him over the flagpole. It's not that easy. If you do succeed in making it over the
Never had to use
flagpole
Koopa,
instead
though.
of hitting an invisible wall, you'll continue to play an endless level that only lasts as long as you have time left. The area past the flagpole is empty of enemies, items, and Mario's will to live. He's losing it out there. And if you make it far enough, with some even going as far to disable the time limit with Game Genies, the game will start to glitch out the further you go out. Maybe if Super Mario Bros. Has its own far lands we haven't found yet. You
Yeah, I
just
was
gotta
gonna
go
say.
far enough into the glitch.
I
Now we're getting into some of my favorite
I remember this one because I was one of the people who fell for it. What was it? I think it was like because Melee had like the challenges, right?
Mhm.
I think it was like, oh, you had to get a certain time with every character or some shit.
Yeah.
That was like the version of it I was told. And like you had to finish for every character, and it was like I remember getting pissed off because fucking what's its name? Jigglypuff
Mm.
was fucking annoying. And I was like, I give up. Getting Sonic in this game is not worth it.
video game urban legends and myths belonging to the character rumors in the Super Smash Bros. Series. Ever since the first Smash
Oh,
Bros., the idea of extra
watching too much One
characters
Piece, I
being
thought that was
hidden in the
Zoro.
games has been a trend, and it's a natural assumption to players when there is already a bunch of unlockable characters. Fighting games in general had some hype-ass rumors to them, but Smash Bros. Specifically are on a whole nother level. That's because Smash is already a huge collaboration of video game characters, so the roster already seems as limitless. Melee was and still is
Was
one of
it
the strongest
Brawl that-
Smash Bros. In the lineup, and it's because of how much
Sonic
the team
finally
put
came in?
into the game.
Yeah.
They had so much they wanted to put in the game that the developers have spoke about characters that were going to be in the game but were cut due to time constraints. With this and the crazy ass things you had to do to unlock certain characters, it was only natural for
wireframe.
rumors
Yeah.
to start for characters who weren't actually in the game. One of the most popular for Smash Bros. Melee was the rumor that Sonic and Tails
Tails
were
look fucking
included, and it was
cursed.
first started by an April Fool's article by Electronic Gaming Monthly, which stated that Sonic and Tails were hidden characters in Melee that nobody had found yet. To unlock the two characters, you'd have to defeat 20 wireframe enemies in Cruel Melee before having to fight off both Sonic and Tails to finally unlock them. The rumor was believed by many due to the expert level photo manipulation showing not only Sonic and Tails on the character roster screen, but also having an image of them in the middle of a match. Looking back, this would have been hype as hell, but with Sakurai already confirming there was a few more characters who were already lined up next in line, it's unlikely that Sonic had a chance to be in the game, much less Tails. Luckily, in the next iteration, we'd finally see some Sonic representation, and that was the beginning of the end of it. They needed more room for Fire Emblem characters, you heard?
So many Fire Emblem characters.
Similar to the Sonic and Tails rumor in Melee, another popular rumor was floating around Smash Bros. Melee that seemed very real but nearly impossible to get. Toad is a character
Toad
who is
hellos
technically
into-
already in the
into
game
the
thanks to
battle.
Princess
Yeah.
Peach's standard B move,
I'll be
using
lurking.
him as a
Yeah.
heat shield, but was once rumored to be playable as his own character. To unlock Toad, you'd have to shoot down all of the names in the credit sequence, which is extremely hard to do and has only been
Impossible
done
feat.
once outside of tasks. I remember attempting this when I was a kid, and it was difficult, so I gave up on it fast since you really only get one chance at it per run, and missing one name spells a restart. This sucked as a challenge and is one of the reasons the rumor was believed to be true for so long, since nobody could shoot down all the credits. Another thing that helped the authenticity of this rumor is the fact that Toad's model is already technically in the game, even if limited. Why wouldn't they have polished him up a little bit and tossed him in as a
Yeah,
means
Toad
to
breaks
unlock
free.
the character? You know,
The video
it's starting to
Yeah.
make sense. Looking back, it's clearly not real, even from just reading what you
Remember
have to do
this.
to unlock him. But the hope of unlocking Toad as another Jigglypuff type of character, where he's pretty much useless besides one move that hits really hard, that would have been cool as hell, man. And I really hope we see some iteration of Toad in Smash one day, even if it's like Toadsworth or Captain Toad or something like that. Totaka's song is a really wholesome and nice Easter egg to run across in the mini games it's presented in. If you're unaware, Totaka's song is more of a jingle than a song, but it is made by Kazumi Totaka, who is a longtime composer for Nintendo's biggest projects. The song is known to be inserted in almost all of his projects he works on, dating back to a game called X on Game Boy in 1990 to the most recent Animal Crossing entry, New Horizons. The jingle goes like this. If you heard it before, then it's likely recognizable since it's such a short and catchy melody. My favorite times Totaka's song has shown up is when they tie it into the theming of the game, like the original Luigi's Mansion. Damn, that one's really good. What makes Totaka's song a great Easter egg is the fact that it's often not a singular track in the game, but a section of a song several minutes in. That means players usually have to track the song down when there's a suspected Totaka song, whether it be waiting on the pause menu for a few minutes or trying to decipher a humming Yoshi over Mario Kart
What?
8's bombastic ass soundtrack. I still don't know how people found that one.
Yeah.
I first heard
Yoshi
the song
Story?
way back
Yeah.
in the day in Mario
Best
Paint.
best
If you
game.
don't know, I'm already a huge fan of the game, and it's super nostalgic to hear the jingle, even in completely different sound fonts. This is one of my favorite recurring Easter eggs in games.
That's cool.
Reptile.
Like I stated a few entries ago, some of the hypest urban legends came from fighting games, and one that predated even the first Smash Bros. Was the rumor that Reptile was a secret fight in the original Mortal Kombat. This is actually the earliest example of a secret character in a fighting game and paved the way for this trend to continue on in the genre. Reptile was often hinted at in the game before fights, where a green reskin of Sub-Zero and Scorpion would come down on the screen and give a number of hints, all of which combined would spell out the way to get to the secret boss fight. The requirements to fight Reptile are pretty ridiculous, as it includes the RNG with the map The Pit, having shadows cross over the moon, get 2 perfect wins without blocking, and finishing the match with a fatality. If you're able to achieve all of this, you will end up fighting Reptile in the bottom of the pit of spikes, where somehow they are perfectly dodging each spike, even when they get thrown back on their back. What the hell? Many may have expected that Reptile would have been an unlockable character as well as after the fight, but unfortunately it just ended up just being a secret boss fight. To be fair though, it is just a recolor of 2 other characters in the game and seems to have both Scorpion and Sub-Zero's abilities. After this rumor turned out to be true, the developers thought it would be best to honor the secret fighter and add him into future iterations as his own character, and even fleshing him out, making him further resemble an actual Reptile in more recent games. It's a legendary video game
Hell yeah.
rumor that ended
Yeah.
up being true, even if almost impossible to get to, at least for me. It reminds me of the Cranky Challenge, but if you ended up completing the challenge, you had to fight Cranky mano-a-mano and bludgeon him to death with his cane as your finisher. I want to do that anyway. If you're a
Yeah,
big enough
this
fan
one.
of Five Nights at Freddy's, chances are you have tried out the custom night mode when you're able to set your own difficulty for each animatronic. There was a rumor for a while that after the game released, if you enter the date 1987 into the lineup of difficulties, it'll unlock secret content like unseen areas in the game. In the original iteration of the game, this wouldn't do anything, but due to this rumor spreading, the creator of the game decided to update it to actually include something if you inserted the code. But instead of more content and lore hidden away, he instead put in a Golden Freddy jump scare that would crash the game immediately. Curiosity killed the FNAF fan, is what they say, right? It's worth noting that the date 1987 plays into the lore of FNAF, as it's not just a random number, 1987 being the year the game takes place in. It is funny to think that players trying this urban legend one day results
No, it
in
doesn't.
nothing, then the next day you get shit on.
It doesn't
by
take
Golden
place in
Freddy and he does
87.
the fucking Fortnite L dance on you
The,
before you have a heart attack
The
and
bite
die.
does, because like in the game he goes like, "Oh yeah, welcome to the thing, blah blah blah." The bite of he references the bite of 87 in the thing, which means it's not that year. It's not even that decade anymore.
Yeah.
So it's probably in like the mid to late 90s.
Probably.
Yeah, and then he's just like, "Yeah, okay, so the bite of 87."
Yeah.
That's like the bite of 2010 would be like us. Like it's not that's not this decade.
Yeah. It's weird.
He got that fact wrong. Just saying.
Yep. Yeah, this
Animal
one.
Crossing is home to many strange and eerie Easter eggs.
Forgot how you do
The
this?
secret was pretty well hidden for a while. The
Think it was by
face
not
often thought to
saving?
be a glitch is actually part of the game
Huh.
and serves as a punishment for not saving while
Yeah.
visiting a friend's town. You get a lot of warnings about this before setting off, so unless you're deliberately trying to get the gyroid face or your power goes out, you'll likely not ever see this throughout your natural gameplay. I never found this
That's
because
weird.
I didn't have any friends. Not only is your appearance hollow and empty permanently, but you also all lose all your items you had in your pockets. So yeah, don't go gallivanting and forget to save because the consequences are really brutal. Super Mario 3D Land
Oh,
features
yeah.
another one of the Mario series' strangest mysteries, and it fittingly lies inside a ghost house. Behind the flagpole of the level
Mhm.
4-4, if you wait 30 seconds, you can see a strange figure hit a nasty cross dissolve into frame before fading away after a few seconds. This ghost can also be seen in less obvious places throughout the level, but if you want the clearest view, the end of the level is the best place. There's a lot of speculation online of what this thing even is and why it's here. Many think this may share some relation to the
The ghost.
aforementioned Hell Valley
Yeah.
sky trees, but
It's
my big
there because
question
it's a
is,
haunted
why
house.
does the ghost appear to be human-like and not like a typical Boo? The Mario universe has clearly shown what their version of ghosts are, so what the hell is this thing? Well, much like the other mysterious oddity
Well, that's the question. Are boos human ghosts?
Or are they just ghosts that have always existed as ghosts? Are they a race?
Yeah. Because they're not called ghosts, they're called boos. And, like, there's a king boo.
Yeah.
I think there's a queen boo, if I remember right. Yeah, I don't think the boos are like people. And we know humans exist in this world from Mario and the Hat of Time. I don't remember what that game is called.
The Odyssey.
Oh yeah, Mario Odyssey.
The Hat of Time. Oh shit.
Because in Mario Odyssey, like they have humans there,
Yeah.
normal people, which kind of just disturbing to know that like Mario isn't human.
Yeah.
It's like
It's weird.
he looks nothing like anybody else.
He's like a infected human
Yeah,
with mushrooms.
it's he's a half toad, half human.
No, he's just a special toad that has human qualities. Kind of like the toads are all different.
Yeah,
It's just
or that's just how Italians look in that world.
God damn it.
What?
No, that's fucking hilarious. like in the Mario universe, this is how all Italians are.
Yeah,
Shorter, they're bulbous, like round, and have the power gods. Oh
these
shit.
Mario games will never get a clear answer, and it's probably just something as simple as an overworked developer adding in something for fun, just so he can make it through his work.
probably.
It's definitely one of the creepier things to see in a Mario game, but this
Well,
one's
probably
been
one of the
covered
more
to death.
tame
let's
things
go
I've
ahead
seen
and move on.
developers put in games because they're bored.
Yeah.
The Jolene Crandon Ghost
Oh.
is a mystery from Grand Theft Auto 5 that appears near and on Mount Gordo.
Right.
The story behind the spirit actually goes pretty deep. And
Oh,
is hidden
that's-
within the
I
game
remember
pretty
this one.
well. If you go to a
Yeah.
website in the game about another mystery, you can find an ad that links to a newspaper clipping from the late 70s that told of a husband and a wife who went hiking on Mount Gordo before the wife supposedly slips off the mountain to her death, with the husband eventually being acquitted of any suspicion with the accident. However, you could tell by his response with him saying things like, "I would never kill my wife, even if she was trying to ruin my stunt career," which isn't usually something someone would say who's grieving. In current day Los Santos, you can actually hear and find evidence that Jolene hasn't moved on quite yet. If you go to certain sections of the map, you can hear voice lines from a ghostly woman's voice saying, "Please don't do it," and pleading with what's supposedly her husband, Jock. At the top of the mountain, where she likely fell off the cliff in the 70s, between the hours of 12 to 1 a.m., you can see a projection of Jolene's ghost. Her spirit takes the form as a flat 2D texture and really reveals how messed up she must have got from falling to her death, even with a permanent frozen shocked look on her face. Not only can you find your
Jesus.
spirit, you can also find evidence that finally confirms her husband killed Jolene, wherein right under her spirit spawn, you can find the name Jock written out in blood. This has to be one of the most surreal and disturbing Easter eggs to find in GTA 5, and the fact it's completely missable, not tied to a side mission or anything. It's hard to know what you're running into when you first find Jolene's ghost. I agree with fans who say that this probably should have been a deeper side mission that perhaps Trevor would go through, seeing as Michael and Franklin already have side missions where they conduct investigations similar to this one, and this seems like the perfect candidate for one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The original Metroid game had some interesting programming, specifically when it came to the password system the game used. Instead of hard coding passwords into the game, they instead implemented a 2-point checksum where it would actually only check the last 2 letters of the passcode. This means that passwords would just have to pass the last 2 integer checks, and the one for changing Samus into her leotard and out of her armor was known as the Justin Bailey code. For years, there was a lot of speculation on who Justin Bailey was and why the code worked in the game. It seemed very random, and before the checksum was known about, having a kid named Justin Bailey be a hard-coded passcode for a Japanese-developed game didn't seem right to some. In reality, it seems like a kid probably named Justin Bailey back in the day just so happened to be messing around with the password system and plugged in his name, and it worked, and it naturally spread like that. Of course, this is just speculation, but it quickly became the most popular code people would use to get the armor swap cheat. In reality, if you played around with your name in the password section long enough, it's likely you'd stumble across a working password yourself. The only hard-coded password in the game is NAR password, which gives you all the power-up items, but other than this, all the other passwords can be anything, and this Justin fella just so happened to get his 15 minutes of fame,
Marcus
or I
Sordo.
guess years of fame, because we're still talking about him several decades later. Shouts out to Mr. Bailey. I really hope you're not a piece of shit by now. I hope you're a good guy. Don't shout me out, and I don't know who you are.
Pokemon Black
Pokemon
Pack.
Black Hack is an early Pokemon creepypasta that was grounded in reality and told of a very believable story. This is because it didn't tell of anything outside of the game itself and delve into the typical horror tropes you'd find in these stories, especially back in the day. The synopsis of Pokemon Black Hack is someone buys a hacked copy of Pokemon Red after explaining he is a fan of buying and playing through Pokemon bootlegs he finds online. After finding Pokemon Black at the flea market, he quickly realized that the hack was unlike any other he'd played before. The starting Pokemon were the same, but there was an additional starter known as Ghost, who takes the form as a ghost from Pokemon Tower in Lavender Town. The player, of course, chooses
Yeah, I
the
know
Ghost
this one.
Pokemon, and its only move turns out to be Curse. This was odd since the move was not added into the series until after Pokemon Red, so it seems like someone went out of their way to intentionally add the move in. It turns out the move not only kills the Pokemon you are facing off against, but also the trainer, and it permanently kills them with a gravestone even showing up in their place outside of a battle. This all culminates in the end of the game where the player is now older and without Pokemon before finally facing off against the ghost Pokemon yourself, where it will end up killing the player, forcing a restart. The story was so believable and grounded in reality to the actual game that someone was able to make a pretty accurate ROM hack to play in real life, and it captures the creepiness of the original story. I think often it's hard to match the craziness in some of these stories to real life pieces like ROM hacks, but the best of the best creepypastas were always the ones like this one that kept it realistic within the parameters of their game they're talking about. This was one of my favorites back in the day, and it really makes me want a full-fledged Pokemon game where it's set in this darker tone and is a little bit more mature.
Just old me.
In terms of Smash Brothers Leak, this next one for Smash Bros. 4 was one of the most convincing of its kind and fooled many and me back in the day. The Rayman leak, besides the Grinch leak, was one of the biggest newer Smash
The
roster
Grinch
rumors
leak?
that had a lot
The
of weight and
Grinch
evidence
leak?
around it. This is due to a perfectly doctored
Fucking
video showing
excuse
Rayman on
me?
the roster screen, even with his own player icon. This was done so well that it
Sorry,
fooled a
you
lot of
can't
gaming
fucking
outlets
threaten
and
me
fans
like
with
that
me
and
getting
then move
extremely
on.
pumped for the newest third-party Smash member. But as we know, equipped with the hindsight goggles, Rayman would never make it into the game as a playable character, and what a damn shame. The leak was made by Curio-Matic on YouTube, where he would eventually come out and reveal the leak was fake and show exactly how he did it. If you're into video editing and photo doctoring, this is a pretty cool watch, and the tactics he used seem pretty annoying and repetitive as fuck, so big props to him seeing the project through, and it seems to have paid off for the wanted effect. The initial origin of the leak came from a series called Smashified, where Curio-Matic would create art for video game characters as if they were in the Smash universe, and it's a super satisfying series to watch, so I recommend to anyone who liked this entry.
Okay.
In terms
Hell
of
yeah.
all-time popular Smash Bros. Leak myths, the Grinch leak has to be number one, man. If you're unfamiliar, the Grinch leak refers to a large leak that occurred in 2018 during the final few roster choices for Smash Bros. Ultimate, and it was an image that supposedly showed a final version of the large mural showing all of the fighters. The post was originally uploaded to 4chan and showed a few choice characters on the mural that hadn't been announced yet, like Banjo and Kazooie, Chorus Kids, Geno, Isaac, Ken, Shadow, and Mach Rider. The mural being manipulated wasn't anything new for fake Smash leaks for Smash Ultimate, but the biggest piece of evidence to prove this leak had some weight to it was actually a render of the Grinch from the newest at the time Grinch animated movie, giving its name the Grinch leak. The render had yet to be seen by the public since the film hadn't had much promo material at the time, and people had noticed, mainly because why the hell would someone go out of their way to create a Grinch render to fool a whole lot of people on the internet for a completely different thing? This was still a stretch, but the fact that this looks super official coming from someone who appeared to work for a company that would have access to renders like this was a promising lead. In hindsight though, obviously the leak was fake, and it only got 2 out of the 7 characters right by the end of the game's roster DLC packs. It also included a lot of most wanted fighters throughout the years, which should have been the biggest red flag, but hey man, what about that sick-ass Grinch render? That's gotta be something, right? Dude, I'm still disappointed that Grinch was never actually in the game. His final smash would have been the Whoville Hoedown, where he'll ride down the mountain at full speed and wreck into other fighters, much like Captain Falcon's final smash. Yeah, I put some thought into that one, if you can't tell.
Catastrophe Crow?
Catastrophe Crow is an internet ARG that was heavily believed to be real in the early days of the project.
Yeah.
With proof of gameplay and the initial showing of the game was covered as if it were a real game nobody ever played. In reality, the whole thing was created for entertainment purposes, and the original author, Adam Butcher, continued the project for a while until there was a playable build of the fictional game. The basic synopsis of the game and its creation comes from the developer creating the game in memoriam of his daughter who passed away at his workplace while visiting him. These themes can be seen throughout the game, with characters in the game reflecting real-life people and
that sucks.
family. The game is playable to a point, and it really has been filled out as time has passed, and the work up top proved to be beneficial in selling it as a real cursed N64 game. It's such an unnerving genre of game, and to put a dark backstory like this behind it makes it even more impactful, not to mention how surreal the game gets near the end. If you haven't heard about Catastrophe Crow, there are a lot of great videos that go into way more detail that I'd recommend, like Nightmind or the original Adam Butcher video, and even the game
Nightmind
theorist
covered it?
coverage on the game.
Oh.
There's a few for you.
Go check out his video later.
Hot Coffee led to one of the biggest setbacks in the video game since the Columbine Doom map leaks, and it was fully on the mishandling of the situation by Rockstar Games. If you're unfamiliar, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas included some cut content, including a sex minigame denoted as Hot Coffee, in which for the time it showed explicit sex acts in the game. However, due to not wanting to risk of a higher rating than M for mature, they hid the mission inside the code, unavailable to anyone playing the base game. However, due to them not removing the minigame in full and locking it behind the back end, when the game's PC port was released, modders were able to restore the minigame to its full extent. Looking back, the scene seems so tame
Yeah.
to what we see nowadays, even in video games, and it makes it even
Yep.
more ridiculous on the outrage and backlash that came from this. To be fair, though, Rockstar probably should have removed the content altogether, but hitting them with the full course of the law for not properly advertising the content is also kind of dumb. It was a witch hunt, and the higher-ups at Rockstar and Take-Two staying silent, well, it wasn't a good look. They, of course, recovered, and it wouldn't be the last piece of drama they got themselves into, but looking back, it was such an interesting time for games and the games industry and how the rest of the world responded to
Fucking
stuff like
haircut.
this. Of course, it's lame as fuck when the government entities try to get involved and with no real way to access the content without knowing to mod it. I truly think this was an overreaction, and if you're truly worried about your kids seeing this scene and totally okay with them doing everything else in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, maybe you need to reprioritize a little bit. GTA 6, they'd have to show full penetration if they wanted to stir up anything nowadays. You know what I'm saying? The theories behind if Michael Jackson had any involvement in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 soundtrack were raging in the early 2000s.
What?
And the story behind it only brings up more questions than answers.
Excuse
Today,
me?
it has all but been confirmed by Sega themselves that Michael Jackson was present and had a hand in creating quite a few tracks in Sonic 3. The theory cropped up that Jackson was involved due to some similar sounding tracks in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 to Michael Jackson's music, even sharing some riffs, and the fact Michael Jackson was uncredited in the game's credits, making it seem pretty fishy. More years would pass without any new information until 2009, where Brad Buxer, the credited composer for Sonic 3, would reveal that he did indeed work with Michael Jackson in developing the tracks for the game. Specifically, the tracks Knuckles Theme, Hydrocity City, and Carnival Night Zone were apparently worked on by Buxer upon Michael's supervision, while the only theme Michael
Whoa.
actually worked on himself
Well,
was the
damn.
staff roll theme. Upon showing Michael the finished demo clips heard through the compressed chip tunes of the Sega Genesis, Michael, the diva he is, decided his music was too good to be desecrated by the chip-tuned sounds the Genesis produced. This was the main theory presented by Buxer himself as to why Michael Jackson went uncredited, as he stated the following. I've never played and I do not know what the developers have kept the tracks on which Michael and I have worked, but we did compose the music with Michael calling at some point to give him a hand on this project, and that's what I did. And if he was not credited for composing the music, it's because he was not happy with the result sound coming out of the console. At the time, game consoles did not allow an optimal sound reproduction, and Michael found it frustrating. He did not want to be associated with a product that devalued his music. Another interview with
That's
Roger
fair.
Hector, the
Yeah.
executive coordinator on Sonic 3, stated the reason for Jackson's uncredited and early termination from the project was due to the following. Sonic 3 was a lot of fun, but it was also very difficult. Michael Jackson originally brought in to compose all the music for the game, but at the very end, his work was dropped after his scandals became public. This caused a lot of problems and required a lot of reworking, but the game turns out great in the end. While both are likely options for Jackson's removal from the project, I'm more inclined to believe Buxer, since he was boots on the ground with Mr. Jackson himself, and it just seems like a Michael Jackson thing to do to hate video game music. I mean, you can't really blame him, really. You know, imagine being a musician your whole life, only dealing with real instruments, then you go work on a project and it turns out sounding like this. I mean, you do the math. It's not that hard to see that this guy wasn't a fan of something that sounded like this. I totally disagree, as I find this era of games had some of the best soundtracks, and oftentimes I'll take this shit over real music any day. Ever since the initial release of Sonic 3, the re-releases have had a lot of trouble with music rights and often will replace the music with beta music before Jackson's involvement, or completely redoing the music altogether. This all culminated recently during the pre-release of Sonic Origins, which would include recreated music to resemble the original tracks from the original game. This was frustrating not only for fans of the original, but even for the co-creator of Sonic, who stated on X, "Oh my god, the music for Sonic 3 has changed even though Sega official uses Michael Jackson's music." This was referencing a clip that the official Sega Twitter tweeted out, including Michael Jackson's Billie Jean as a backing track, yet they're not allowed to use the original tracks by Michael Jackson. I don't know, man. What kind of wacky, dumbass world do we live in? I'm with you, Yuji. I'm on your side, dude. This is bullshit. Sometimes video game Easter eggs don't even have to be in a video game.
yeah.
Take the Hall of Tortured Souls from Windows 95, for example. This was a strange rumor turned Easter egg from Windows 95, in which if you open Excel and went to the 95th row and selected the whole row, tabbed over to the B column, go to Help/About, tap and hold Control-Alt-Shift, then click the tech support button, then this Easter egg will appear. The small game isn't even really a game and more of a humorous take on a developer's credits. The game starts in a pretty vibrant room and presents the user the controls to move in 8 directions and to look up and down. Throughout the hall, you can find messages and names of developers who worked on Windows 95 before finally finding a large mural of a very pixelated picture of all the developers standing and sitting together. The Hall of Tortured Souls was always talked up to be creepier and bigger than it was, and while the visuals are a little off-putting, reminding me of something like LSD Dream Emulator, there really isn't anything that unnerving hidden here. It's more of a unique way to show the credits of an operating system, which is already likely going to go unnoticed by many users. I mean, who's thinking about checking the credits to an operating system? I don't even stick around for the credits at the end of a movie. Think I'm going to go find out who made my OS?
Freaking company.
Club Penguin was
Oh.
never in my rotation of games, but I do know the impact the game had on its fans in the
Yeah.
early 2000s. The game had quite a few rumors going around, but the most popular is easily the rumor that you could tip the iceberg off the northeast coast of Penguin Island. It's unknown where the rumors first started, but the basic idea is that if enough players stood on one side of the iceberg, it would tip over and sink. But no matter how many people tried it, it would never even get close. Some of the rumors went deeper and stated that you needed extra gear to pull this off, like the Jackhammer 3000. That's why a lot of the early footage of this phenomenon, you'll see a bunch of construction worker penguins looking like they're about to drill straight to China. They're really just trying to flip the iceberg. This remained a myth until the final days of Club Penguin servers being open, wherein during the final party event, they updated the iceberg to finally be able to be tipped over. To actually do this, it was a bit more involved than just offsetting the weight of the penguins, in which you'd have to get 5 players in the room who are blue and walking a blue puffle, while also dancing and wearing the hard hat, referencing the rumor of the Jackhammer 3000 rumor. It's
That's
super cool to
cool.
see this finally
That's
happen.
really
I'm
cool.
sure for fans that fell for this
Just
rumor back in the day, this was super satisfying to finally do. Shout out to the Club Penguin devs, man. I can't imagine if they updated Super Mario 64 with Luigi back in the day, reversing all that wasted time in my childhood. Good for you guys, man. Possibly one of the best
Church.
mysteries of recent gaming news was definitely the Nier Automata's church mystery. In June 2022, a Reddit post was made to the game's Reddit asking if they knew how to open the church doors in the game. This was followed by many users questioning where and what the player was even talking about, as nothing sounded familiar to what they were describing. After the user came back and hit them with receipts in the ways of photos, it started to perplex many, with some questioning if it was even real, claiming if this was a hoax, it was incredible. As the user started to share more about the mysterious church area through footage and more images, it seemed like this was a legit area in the game that had yet to be discovered. After many attempts to find and unlock the church, it was beginning to occur to some that this may be an insanely detailed ARG, which it turned out to be, sort of. The original creator of the mystery revealed on a live stream that the evidence was the works of a mod they created, and the entire Reddit post was fake and used to trick people. The mod was even talked about and shared by the creator of Nier, Yoko Taro, who shared videos of the mod and even played into the mystery, not directly answering fans' questions about the mystery. Apparently, Taro liked the mod and liked the mystery so much that they even added a reference to it in the official Nier anime, making this entire thing technically somewhat canon. Shout out to everyone involved, the creators for making one of the most impressive video game urban legends of recent times, and to the creators for
That
not
was cool.
immediately
Maybe I should play
dispelling the
Nier
myth and
Automata.
playing into it more. Just
maybe.
saying, if this was Nintendo, it would have been hit with a cease and desist, and the creator would be paying 50% of every paycheck directly to Miyamoto's Venmo for the rest of his life. Not giving too much credit. He's definitely a Cash App type of guy.
The thing is, do I
Alright, that'll
have
do
to
it for
play
today.
as Oh, that was the end. Holy shit!
Jesus.
We only went down 2 levels. What the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, you might have more.
Oh shit!
Oh, this is an hour and a half. Oh, well, we've been going for 5 hours.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You want to finish the next 2 videos, or do you want to? Or do you think we can call it there?
What are the other 2?
First one is scary things found in family-friendly games,
Uh-huh.
and the other one is disturbing things from around the internet.
That one's long.
Which one's long?
That one. It's 40 minutes.
This one, 13.
Do you want to risk this one?
I don't think anything bad with it. This one specifically.
All right, if you want to roll the dice on this one.
All right. I'll
Alright.
just quickly pause it.
Yep.
All right.
Have Alt,
Trigger warning. Everything.
have Alt F4 waiting.
Trigger warning. Whatever. Everything. I'm not
Back
quite
in
sure.
November,
Okay.
I mentioned that I was discontinuing my unnerving YouTube channels and unnerving YouTube videos
O'Reilly's
miniseries
dead.
to a mixed
Yeah.
response. I told you guys not to worry, and that's because what you're about to watch is its direct and far improved replacement. Welcome to episode 1 of Disturbing Things from Around the Internet. This is
think it'll be fine,
essentially a
hopefully.
one-stop shop for creepy finds.
Yeah,
that
there's
I
a lot
might
of
have
crazy
stumbled
stuff on
upon
YouTube.
recently while browsing online. We'll dive into not
Yeah,
only
but this one has the dude has 3.5 million subscribers. Clip itself has
Yeah.
a lot of views. I don't know why it's not telling me the views. So I think we're
things
fine.
from YouTube,
Yeah.
but from all over the net as well. Today, we're going to dive into 5 hand-picked and disturbing finds from the internet.
The Hawaii missile scare.
Oh shit.
I think I remember this one.
I think I do too.
The recent Hawaii missile scare is one of the most unsettling real-life occurrences to happen in a long time.
Yeah.
Back in my
I remember this one.
Yeah, this is the one that fuck, who was it? It was an actor who was in Hawaii at the time.
Yeah.
And they like genuinely thought they were gonna die, and they like called their fucking,
Tom Hanks.
Was it Tom Hanks?
I think it was Tom Hanks, yeah.
And they like called their family and was like, "I'm sorry, I'm gone. I'm gonna die."
Yeah.
YouTube videos series, I included an entry about an emergency alert and how disturbing they sound. This is essentially that, but this time, it was for real. Hawaii's residents went into a state of panic following this broadcast, and there were all sorts of goodbyes being given due to the anticipation of all of their lives possibly being wiped out as time ticks closer and closer to the missile's estimated time of arrival, which was said to be just minutes from when the alert went live. Fortunately, this entire fiasco merely turned out to be a false alarm. The footage that residents took during the situation, however, is entirely disturbing. Take a look at some of it.
Missile threat to Hawaii. A missile may impact on land or sea within minutes. This is not a drill. If you are indoors, stay indoors. If you are outdoors, seek immediate shelter in a building.
If you're watching this video, that means I didn't make it because of the missile that's coming towards Hawaii. I just fired the last hole, and I just hit the shiznik out of my ball. So, I love you all, but I'm playing golf. It's the last thing I'm gonna do.
Damn.
A missile may impact on land or sea within minutes. This is not a drill. If you are indoors, stay indoors. If you are outdoors, seek immediate shelter in a building. Remain indoors well away from windows. If you are driving, pull safely to the side of the road and seek shelter in a building or lay on the floor. We will announce when the threat has ended. This is not
Yeah.
The sheer terror that comes with an emergency alert, coupled with the idea that these residents believed that they only had a few more minutes to live, really puts things into perspective here. Hawaii is such an isolated state, and if there ever truly were an event like this that were to happen, these people would have absolutely nowhere to go.
Tornado house. House NATO? Shit.
This
Yeah, I
YouTube
thought it
video
was only
showed
gonna
up
be
in my
sharks in
recommended
there.
feed a few months back,
There's
and
a
I've
squid
seen it a
NATO.
couple of times since then.
Damn it.
It involves a family's venture as a tornado rips through their house. It opens with the husband filming a tornado a short distance away, and after a few seconds, it's evident that the storm is
So
here
Wizard
to
of Oz.
stay. He then proceeds with his wife to the closet under the stairs, and the terror that follows is much, much more real than anything out of a horror movie. Look at this.
Holy shit. Holy moly. Alright. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Alright, I gotta go. I'm coming, honey. Shit, where you at, hon? God damn, it's bad. Alright, stay. Oh my god. Okay, honey. Holy shit. Stay in. Oh, man.
That live leak. No.
I know. Wow, that's not around anymore.
It's not?
No, not yet. Oh.
Jeez.
Oh my god. Our house is freaking destroyed, Josie. Oh my god. Where's Autumn? Oh. I've never seen anything like it. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. People underestimate tornadoes, man.
Why do people live where there's
The
horrible
way
natural
they lift up the
disasters like
pressure
that?
After an event like that
They
is
enjoy the view.
absolutely mind-boggling.
Stupid.
And if that were me, I don't think I'd be able to stay that calm. The sounds of
Kansas
the
got no
tornado
view.
are enough to put a horrific image into our minds, and the aftermath of their home is nothing short of grim and depressing. This video isn't anything like a movie. It's genuine and unfiltered, and I can only hope that this family successfully recovered.
What's
No
up?
matter what kind of storm it is, this really is something that can happen to any of us
State probably gave
at
him
any
something.
time.
State probably gave him $1 or something.
Huge fear of mine. Well, yeah, you live in the path of hurricanes, so yeah.
This is another Facebook post that went live on October 3rd. A
Yeah,
user
but
by
you
the
can
name of
fight
Terry
fires.
made a post asking people if they heard
That's the
the
difference.
eerie
We can
broadcast that went
actively
live on the internet
avert
every-
a fire. There are precautions you can take. You can't do shit about wind.
I think that's what she means.
What do you mean?
Fires can be stopped or prevented. You can't stop a tornado. That's why it's a big fear.
Yeah.
She's not saying that like, oh, fires are like worse or like that's why it's bad over here.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Free station in Louisiana.
Either way, it's not a
She
competition.
claimed that she couldn't find anything on the news regarding the matter, and that after reaching out to other individuals who posted videos of the same thing, determined that this was happening all over the US. This is what they heard.
Hashtag world is world.
Now, It sounds like a distorted voice naming off states, and hearing it obviously raises alarm. Allegedly, according to radio broadcast stations, this was an emergency alert test that was sent out, and apparently this happens all the time. The stations claim that it's due to a difference in sampling rate from the raw broadcast to the radio station.
I don't know
If
about
they're out
that.
of
I've
sync,
never heard that
it
before.
causes creepy distortion like you just heard. This is, of course, what the radio stations claim. What was actually being broadcasted, however, is to be determined.
Yeah.
Oh, this one.
I don't think I've heard of this one.
The green building.
Huh?
The green building?
This was a very interesting
No.
thing to follow.
No?
Back in 2015, a Reddit post was made in the conspiracy subreddit by a user claiming
Yeah.
that they lived very close to a supposed daycare that had an extremely strange look to it, and in all 5 years of them living there, have never seen a kid arrive or leave. As expected, this struck interest in Redditors, and people started throwing in suggestions for what it could be. Some claimed that it could be a money laundering center, while others suggested that it could be used for child trafficking. There was also, of course, a group that believed that this was simply a real daycare and that there's nothing more to see. Things got interesting though when one user named Deathship commented this: "I'm going to advise you guys to stop looking into this place."
Okay.
This just drove the interest in the building up
No,
even
my
more.
mom would just shop for shit.
After looking into Deathship's background, they came to the consensus that he's potentially just a troll trying to scare people. However, that doesn't discount the other comments left by users claiming the same thing that the original poster did: that they live in the area and have never seen a kid come in or out in years. They also went to the Funtime Kids Care website and described it as being super sketchy and plain, with a bunch of stock images and a phone number. When people decided to call it, they were either sent a voicemail or a lady would answer in a very eerie tone before hanging up on them. One other user claimed that it's indeed a real daycare and that they used to be a mail carrier for that neighborhood. However, one part of their response was a little strange. They said that it is in fact full of kids, but every single time that they deliver mail, no matter the time of day, it would always be nap time. Pretty strange stuff, but
That's
that's not
creepy.
even the end of it. People took to Google Maps Street View to check out the place, and they determined that the windows to the daycare have been covered up for years and have hardly ever changed. One of the few instances of somebody being outside of the building is
The hell
one
are those
snapshot
windows
that the user
anyway?
caught where someone is out in the backyard
Mm.
for some reason or another. This led to even more speculation, prompting people to check out the place in person, which quickly became a large problem. One Redditor claimed that they traveled to visit the daycare, and at night, when they got a glimpse inside, they saw nothing but a chair aimed at a TV, showing surveillance footage of another room. Of course, many other people visited the daycare, even during, quote, operating hours, to try to get a peek into their windows. This led to another large issue in itself regarding grown adults trespassing on a private property to peek into a window of a supposed daycare with supposed children. People even began taking photos of the few children that they saw outside the place. This inevitably led to an even larger issue, so police began to monitor the place and Redditors were urged to stay away.
That's a big ass door.
One person managed to get pictures of the inside, and it seemed pretty ordinary.
Yeah,
After doing
what?
even more digging on the place, Redditors
Oh,
dug
that's
up the
what it
owner's
is?
name, and
Okay.
it's rumored that the building owner purchased the daycare for his mother to give her something to do with her time. Allegedly, she's been running the daycare for years, even though they have multiple violations on their state record. This is, of course, speculation and determinations from Reddit, so take these with a grain of salt. All in all, the general consensus is that this is indeed a normal daycare. A strange, eerie, and creepy one, but a daycare nonetheless. We just dove into 5
Okay. So about the daycare.
Uh-huh.
This was posted a while back. More information actually came out.
Oh.
And I didn't know it. So the daycare itself, yes, it was an actual daycare. It was a daycare for abused children.
Oh.
It was a safe haven.
Oh.
And kids could go out or go there after school to just just hang out.
Yeah.
It was a daycare for kids from like, what was it? It was like 10 to 16.
Okay.
And yeah, that's what it used to be. And then that person died, who owned it, and it was sold to a guy who bought it for his mom. That part is true. And the mom suffering from like certain illnesses, I don't quite remember. I think dementia was one of them. She was the one who's supposed to be taking care of it. Of course, the son had a lot more stuff to do with it. Yeah, all the people who were like, "Oh, yeah, stop looking into it," and people saying like, "Oh, I went up to it and fucking like saw creep shit," those weren't true.
Okay.
Like at all. The reason the windows were boarded up, that seemed most of the time, was just because like those must have been days where like Google came and took pictures and they just had stuff on the window.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's still functional. Like people still bring their kids. A mom actually posts like, "Yeah, I actually bring my kids here every few days. It's a normal daycare now." But yeah, it's a bunch of stupid shit. People like perpetuating the
like playing into the mystery.
Yeah, playing into the mystery, trying to make it grow. Other people joining in, trying to be mysterious and fucking creepy, and it's not really how it works.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's not anything creepy. It is just a daycare. I think they actually put out like, "Please stop coming here."
Yeah, I mean, it's the grown ass adults trying to trespass onto a daycare. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a good look for anybody.
Yeah. So yeah, anybody watching this who sees like that is like interested in fucking like, "Oh fuck, I wonder if I could go see it." It's like, no, it's an actual daycare.
Stop being interested.
Yeah, stop being interested. There are children there.
Let them be.
Yeah. Let it just be a normal business.
Yeah.
So yeah. It is a normal daycare. It's never been a drug ring or trafficking or anything like that. It is a normal daycare.
Yeah.
This video was posted a while back, so of course they don't really have the rest of the information.
Yeah. Yeah, this is 2 years ago.
Yeah. 7 years ago.
Is that 7? Oh yeah, it is. My eyes are blurry.
So yeah. As for the other ones, I don't really have much information on the other ones.
Yeah.
Most of them were just creepy videos. I feel like, okay, this is good.
Yeah.
It's good because it's just creepy videos. It's nothing really weird. I feel like some of the later ones might have weird shit, but not this one.
Trying to up himself.
Probably. Or just looking for creepy shit on the internet in general.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
But that will do it for today.
Yeah. Yeah.
You would give me 2 seconds. I am going to check if any friends are streaming. Oh no.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna raid them. Go to my creator dashboard. Stream manager.
Oh, I can see what you're doing because you're still streaming your browser.
Yeah, I was still streaming my browser on Discord. Not stream. Raid channel. Here we go. Following that.
Alright.
Alright, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for sticking around. Anybody watching the VOD or on YouTube, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and wait, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell strokes my ego and the algorithm. I get shared more. And yeah. I'll see you guys next time.
Bye bye.
Bye.